Ronnie Coleman, 2003, Mr. Olympia version. Some people claim this to be the ultimate in bodybuilding figures in the history of the sport. And then there is the other side of the token. Phil Heath, 2013. There are still critics that will always argue and say that he would beat Ronnie Coleman, taking nothing away from the legacy of Mr. Coleman. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have never had a one-on-one comparison between these two. I must say, in the front relaxed position, as always, Phil is going to be in trouble when it comes to the genetics, the size, the structure. I mean, my goodness, my soul even. Ronnie Coleman is huge, and the conditioning, there is no question. Let's turn to the side here. And Phil does possess some qualities. Muscle insertions, quality, like I said. A little bit of stomach distension there, I notice. And slightly distended of Ronnie Coleman as well. But he is so huge that really, both of them, very massive. So duly noted. Both of them very good. But at the end of the day, Coleman, much bigger. Much bigger. Turn around and, in my opinion, Phil is slightly better, and that gets me some criticism. A lot of you argue that the glutes are much bigger for Ronnie Coleman. But I argue this point every time when it comes to glutes. Glutes are not delts, they're not quads, biceps. You don't want them oversized. And it's not an ab, it's not a stomach, a midsection. You don't want it that petite. It's a glute. It should be just the right size. And I feel Dr. Phil, or Phil Heath rather, he nailed it. He has a better set of glutes, in my opinion, now. And when it comes to conditioning, both of them are right on par with each other. Phil may be tighter in the back. It's hard to say. Ronnie might be tighter in the lag department. But still, Ronnie is so huge. He does, when the smoke clears from the symmetry round, Ronnie does get a slight edge. And it will be more than a slight edge. As always, in the front double bicep pose. More than ever, though. I much prefer the 2003 Ronnie Coleman over the 99 in certain poses. See, you didn't let me finish. In certain poses. And surprisingly, he kept his midsection in check. He is, well, let's face it, he is flattening Mr. Phil Heath, or Mr. Heath. Let's have another perspective on this. Coleman, you can see Dexter Jackson in the foreground there. He did an interview. The guy said, what is it like to compete with Ronnie Coleman? He said, he's a beast. He's a beast. And he is. Phil is too, but he is a smaller beast. When you look at the arms, he is very symmetrical, though, I must say. Almost perfect. But nothing doing. Front lat spread. And this matchup is like none other. And Ronnie Coleman is winning even the symmetry round, which is very rare that we have a full symmetry round and I'm able to judge. I don't give just a point in the front relaxed position. You have to judge the symmetry round. But Coleman is just flattening. And I mean flattening Phil. Here's another one here. And I actually preferred Phil of 2011 over 2013, especially in poses like this. Little bit of distension for Dr. Phil, I must say. That could hurt him in this contest. But it is far, far from over. But I am writing down more than a point here. I take all things into consideration when I make my final decision on this. I believe that Ronnie was just a little too small in 99. But here, it's plain to see. Turn to the side, and here's where Marx Max Muscle starts to make sense. Although I must say, Ronnie presents a massive package. But from the side, it's Phil and his display. He's not quite as hard and as grainy, I must say, in the upper body as Ronnie Coleman. He is in the arms, but not in the pecs. But I do not prefer a split in the pec. Here's a pan back version. And it was a little closer in the first comparison. But this one, you guys know I love that 70s bow look. And Dr. Phil, or Phil Heath rather, just presents that in spades. So for you critics, you Ronnie Coleman fans, Ronnie Colemanites, do you guys go to the washroom or go have protein shakes during poses where Phil is actually winning? You have to take all things into consideration, guys. And I mean this. Do you guys miss this one? I mean, Coleman's arm is probably twice as long as Phil's, and Phil's is twice as thick. What a presentation and a pose, I'm here to tell you. And this is actually a decent one for Coleman. And I'm taking all things into consideration as well when I'm looking at Coleman's side tricep. I'm very impressed with striations, things of that nature. But Dr. Phil, this is probably one of his best side triceps. As Louis Marco puts it, side tricep sees baby please. And baby please, let's have a look at the back developments, beginning with a nice little Christmas tree. And come on, Colemanites, admit it. Taking into consideration that I do not really appreciate that huge butterfly on Ronnie Coleman's buttock region that he calls glutes. Doesn't that look like a big, massive butterfly? Butterfly, I'm her flower. Anyway, enough of that foolishness. I do get a little foolish in the later stages of the matches. Coleman presents a dryness in those legs that I think they're never going to be touched. Never. But in the back development, I would say Phil Heath is probably still winning the Christmas tree and the lat insertions. Back lat spread, and come on, you Colemanites, give me the credit. I don't want to hear one of you ding-dongs say that, oh, Coleman was winning in the rear lat spread. He's just too big. What do you mean too big? It's like a hard, grainy piece of... Here's another one here. It's the same thing here. Hard granite versus... Well, I don't want to call Ronnie's back soft, but in comparison, guys, admit it. Of course, like I said, those hamstrings. Good thing Phil brought an awesome package. Because I would say the lat insertions are lower, neater, lower back's tighter. Come on, guys, admit it. Dr. Phil is winning. He's beating Ronnie Coleman from behind. He's more symmetrical, too. You can see Ronnie's left lat is creeping in there. Let's have a look at the rear double biceps. And this is the same thing, guys. Don't just say, oh, Ronnie's bigger. He's winning. Look at the delts. Phil's winning in the delts. Much bigger delts. You have to look at this objectively or subjectively, whatever. The traps, bigger, better. The lats, perfectly symmetrical. They go all the way down to a nice little Christmas tree lower back, tighter than a drum. Here's another one here, and this is an even more glaring look at Ronnie's lower back there. It's very unsymmetrical. He's winning in the arms, of course. The biceps, that is, not the delts. Look at the delts, the traps, everything. Come on, guys. Give me credit where credit is due. I don't just willy-nilly say Phil Heath is beating Ronnie Coleman just because. It's because he is. Once again, though, look at those hamstrings. I'm writing that down. Hamstrings, tighter for Ronnie. Ab and thigh shot, and this is an easy win for Phil? Well, I don't know, guys. I often do say the bigger, more massive Colemans are better in the ab and thigh. Still, he has a little bit of that love handle thing going on. But as far as the abs are concerned, I might even say Ronnie's winning. We're going to actually have to have another look here, and because this is serious stuff, guys, and I don't believe my eyes here. Phil, he's definitely not winning in the abs. Maybe winning in the V-taper. But Ronnie, look at those lats. I'm afraid to say, when I look at the thighs, it's all she wrote. This is a game changer. This could be a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie Coleman winning the ab and thigh. That's bizarre. Most muscular, and this is most bizarre also, that Ronnie Coleman doesn't snap a hands clasped most muscular at this event. I couldn't find one anyway. A couple of backstage ones. Look at the legs of Coleman here. He's much more massive than Phil, but I like Phil's. It's his presentation. his aesthetics in this pose, and his arms. Look at the size of Phil's arms. And like I said, I do not actually prefer this one of Coleman, but it's still, look how massive he is. Much like all the other most musculars, we are going to look at a few, and this one is not very flattering at all for Coleman. And I'll be honest, he's probably not flexing his abs. He's whoosh. He had to let go of some oxygen there. He was probably tired when you're that big. And Phil, clearly, in my opinion, little cleaner, little neater in this shot. Little better, too, I must say. But like I said, maybe not the most fair thing to do on King Coleman. Let's have a look at a third and final most muscular, guys. And this is a close matchup. I couldn't believe it. I thought the doctor for sure, snapping up both side shots. He was going to finish off strong with the ab and thigh, but then it veered off the other way. And this most muscular here, I don't know, guys. I always said Phil Heath better than Coleman, and I believe the 2011 is big enough to take the leaner 1999 Coleman. But pop your corks, guys. Ronnie Coleman. Woo! Yeah, lightweight, baby. Peanut. It's peanut time, guys. 2003. Ronnie Coleman. He was that big. He won in the symmetry round. He had an edge right from the get-go. He's your winner, but I always say the 2011 Dr. Phil was his best, so maybe we could have a third and final matchup. Maybe for next Saturday. Make it a little tradition, perhaps. Have a premiere every Saturday. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hit thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, and don't forget, have a great day.